Hello, this is self-assessment number 2. I currently have a cold, so sorry if I sound stuffy and for how I appear. I did take notes, so I'm going to be reading from my laptop. This is Darcy Broadway, once again, self-assessment number 2. So how would you define codependency versus insecure attachment? Codependency, it says a partner is enabling instead of making addiction better. It is someone who's trying to do their best to help their partner with the skills they have. Someone putting their love and care into a person despite their substance use or poor choices. It is not demonizing a person, it's being there for them. So codependent. What does insecure attachment mean? So a person may develop insecure attachment early in life due to like childhood trauma. It could be inconsistent and neglectful, unpredictable relationships with them as they get older. So it creates this insecure attachment for a person. With that could come difficulty trusting others, trouble regulating emotions, a strong need for reassurance, avoidance of closeness, and a fear of abandonment. So insecure attachment comes with emotional instability. Substance use is often used to avoid difficult relationships, self-soothing anxiety, loneliness, or abandonment. When internal coping skills feel weak, it can help regulate emotions. So substance use has become a way to manage the emotional instability tied into insecure attachment. In simple terms, drugs or alcohol may be used to escape. How would you define codependency versus prodependency? Codependency is considered a dysfunctional pattern where helping becomes unhealthy. Prodependency would be quite the opposite. It's a newer concept that pushes back on labeling caregivers as dysfunctional. So I see like earlier in my question 1, it was like codependent comes off so negative, and it could be used negatively. However, it sounds like prodependency is trying to make it more of a positive. Let's see. And it's more so like the behaviors that someone has towards someone who's using illegal substances. It's like their behaviors aren't looked as a negative, but it looks at them as loving someone in crisis. So prodependency is more positive. So we can go like, for example, caregiving is seen as natural. Healthy boundaries are established. There's not a shame on loving someone who is struggling with substance use. Prodependency seems definitely way more positive. I like this. It's something very new that I just learned. So let's see. Third question. What's one thing you would want a family member to know about how to help someone who is struggling with addiction? So I'd say talk with them without attacking them. I know personally I've had many relatives that have struggled with substance use. I've always tried to be kind and be like, hey, are you using? And then they'll tell me no. And then I'm like, okay, they just lied to me, which is like frustrating on the inside. But I always come at people sincerely. When I'm asking, like, how are things going? Are you using? You should probably stop, like, and just like the consequences that come with it. Let's see. I should be avoiding lectures. I don't mean to lecture when I'm trying to give feedback on trying to help someone. So I guess that's something I'm kind of learning too, like my approach. So one thing I would want a family member to know about how to help someone who is struggling with addiction. So talk with them without attacking, of course. And this goes back to self-assessment number 1, just the idea of the brain, how the brain works when it comes to addiction. I would talk to my family member and let them know, like, yes, it's not as easy to stop as it seems. And even the other day when someone was like, tell me how they were an addict and they got their kids taken away and they were able to get their kids back in 3 months because they loved their kids enough, therefore they stopped. And in my mind, as that person is talking, I'm just thinking, that's not what it's about. Like, it's not so easy to just stop, and it makes you question what was her motivating factor beyond the kids, like what was happening in her brain to where it's so easy for her to stop. And then you question, like, how long was the substance use? Was she a newly addict? Was she using for 20 years? The stronger and longer the substance use abuse, I'm thinking it's going to take longer to heal from that and become sober. So I would talk to a family member about, like, really, like, hey, we know this person's struggling. They've struggled with substance use for a long time. Let's be mindful that it's not going to be so easy just to stop it like that. It's not a one-time use. This is something that they've done for a long time. There's something happening in the brain for it to happen the way it's happening, as far as them wanting to keep using the substance. I'd also talk with my family member about the idea of trauma. Like, that person might be using that substance to deal with the trauma that they've been through, and that's realistic and is real, and we can't forget that. And I feel like we all have trauma. We all use different coping skills to, like, heal that trauma or mask that trauma or make ourselves feel better. So I would talk to a family member about, like, hey, let's remember everyone has trauma. There's a reason why they're doing that. I think that's a huge one for me right there. And that's just even with my work in children's services. People move the way they move, and these allegations are happening because of trauma. Like, there's trauma behind it all. And then also, like, just to encourage my family member to, like, speak of, therapy, counseling, different detox programs, NA and AA, maybe even offer to go with them. That would be pretty awesome. Also setting clear boundaries with the person, saying, I won't give you money. I don't know. I just think that it's really important to understand the trauma, that there's trauma behind it. We might not know that trauma, but know that this is coming from somewhere. And we also got to be mindful of not just, enabling either. Like, if our relative ended up, like, using an illegal substance and now they have a problem over it, it's not up for us to figure out how to cover their problem. Like, they use the money for drugs instead of paying their PG&E bill. Now the PG&E bill shut up. You know what I mean? Like, can't keep covering things for them maybe once, but after that, like, you don't want to become an enabler, and you don't want to think that they can continue doing what they're doing without any, like, consequences and natural consequences at that. So all in all, I was just say, love on a family member, anybody who we know that is using illegal substances, and then also just in general, like, also take care of ourselves. Don't be too stressed about it. There's only so much we can do, and just have our own support system. Find someone that we could talk to, and just about the situation, and definitely self-care. So hopefully, all that made sense. Again, sorry, congested, not feeling well at all, and I gotta go to work tomorrow. I think I answered all the questions. Thank you for the semester. It's been for some really fun assignments. I really enjoy the assignments. So thank you. Bye.